Hello, my name is David Schaefer with Gangbusters. Welcome to this webinar, The Secret to Startup Revenue, How to Become a Guide Worth Following. In this presentation, it should be about 10 minutes long. I'm going to take you through some of the storytelling techniques that are used by brands and Hollywood to help people understand new products. So this is especially useful for founders, entrepreneurs, CEOs, people that really aren't in the marketing profession. Although if you are in the marketing profession, I urge you to listen to it as well, because these are foundational things that help you become a better marketer and help you grow revenue faster. So let's dive right in. So what you're going to learn today is marketing versus sales. What's the difference? Why you need both. Messaging, how it's the only way to grow. It really is. How to tell a story for profit, and that's different than just telling a story. How to become a guide for your buyers. We're going to talk about who the hero of your story is, and it's not you or your product. How to write a better homepage or a better landing page, 10x, 50x, 100x your landing page. And then some marketing rules that are going to define your growth and why you need to align yourself to those rules. So let's jump right in. Marketing versus sales. So what is the difference here? There's so much, talk about what's important. We need marketing, we need sales. Really, sales is it's a now function. It's about today. It's about getting action from someone who's in front of you right now, right? It's not about tomorrow. It's not about next week. It's about right now, and it's about action. Marketing is not. Marketing is about creating meaning, and I'll go into a little bit more about what it means to create meaning. But marketing is for tomorrow. Marketing creates a feeling that makes me lean in and think about you and remember you. So marketing is tomorrow, it's memory, it's thinking, and it's remembering. And this is an old sales versus marketing sort of slide from, I don't know, it's a few years old, but it's a great example. So in the sales example, all you know is this guy's going to Jacksonville. I need to get to Jacksonville. That's what's important. But in the marketing example, why is he going to Jacksonville? Well, he's going to mom's for Christmas. So he's got a mom. He's going to visit his mom. That probably means he's not going to steal your car and beat you up. He's going home for Christmas. So, wants to be with family. So there's a story there, and that story allows you to remember this person. And if it's a good story, you'll think that you like them as well. So it's about memory and likability. So understand the difference. There is a role for sales. You have to get sales right now, but there are the vast majority of people, 95% of them, 90% of them aren't in the market and ready to buy right now. So what do you do with them? You have to make memories. You have to make meaning for them. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So what is marketing? Marketing's job is to get an idea into someone's head while they're driving past at 60 miles an hour. So marketing must get an idea, that's the right content, into someone's head, that's the right person, while they're driving past at 60 miles an hour. That's the right time. And we're all busy. We're all extremely, extremely busy. So it's very important to be able to do this, because marketing is not the exhaust of sales. If all you're doing is trying to sell, and then failed sales are what you consider marketing, then you're missing the point here. The point here is that you need to talk to future customers and make them like you, not make them be frustrated because you're trying to sell them something. Okay, so now we're going to go into messaging and why this is the only way to grow. So we have been writing on cave walls forever as humans, and that's storytelling, right? And the way we do that is to make meaning out of life. So in the cave walls, there was the heroic person who conquered the foe or brought food back and was a great hunter. So we make stories about these people because we want to go on that emotional journey with them. What is it like to be that great hunter? What is it like to be a great conqueror of nations? So it's the storytelling is about the emotional journey. The reality is what you see on screen here. The reality is tedious. It sucks. So imagine you had to go conquer another country, 500 years ago. How would you travel? How would you get there? How would you eat? How would you go to the bathroom? What kind of transportation would there be? What are your tools? How are you keeping your tools up? All of this stuff is tedious. It's tedious. It's not part of the story, but it's stuff that has to be done. And that's exactly the same thing that happens with decision making for buyers, especially with B2B or any kind of, it could be B2C as well, any kind of considered purchase. Decision making is time consuming, it's nonlinear, it's messy, and people need to go through it. They need to identify problems and go, oh yeah, these are my problems. They need to explore solutions and go, oh yeah, these are the potential solutions to that problem. They need to build requirements to go, oh yeah, this is what I need out of this deal. And then they need to choose the right vendor. There is no shortcutting this process. There's only making it easy and friendly for folks. So I show you this slide of all the things that people have to do in order to buy something, to say your job as a marketer is to make meaning here. It's not to categorize all the lists of things that people need to do, because this is life. Life itself is tedious, but the story of life is adventurous and it's exciting. And that creates meaning. That sense of accomplishment of going through this journey is what creates meaning. So you cannot shortcut it. All right. I don't know who's a big fan of Tony Robbins. I like Tony Robbins. He's been saying sort of the same thing for 30 years. And I think he's brilliant. It helps in marketing if you are a mindful person, if you understand that what's going on in your head is that you're trying to get inside someone else's head, and that someone else is busy with 1,000 other things. So the meaning you attach to something produces the emotion of your life, and the emotion is your life. So all of life is about meaning and emotion. All of what we do is back here to this sort of reality of it all. But if we're going to tell a story with a hero who accomplishes something, we need to be focused on meaning and emotion. And that's true whether it's B2B or B2C. If you think talking about your product in an emotional, non-emotional way is gonna tick the boxes for somebody and get them to really love you, then you're dreaming. So now let's talk about how to tell a story for profit. Well, it turns out that stories, that humans, tend to respond to a typical story structure. And we like a familiar narrative. And it's the narrative you see in all TV shows and movies. It's the narrative you see play out in great advertising. It's the narrative you see in a great speech. It's the narrative you see in a pitch deck that really wows you, or a creative presentation, something I've been doing for 25 years. That narrative is everything. It is the story. It is the feeling and the meaning that you're trying to create. And it goes something like this. A character that you care about has a goal, which is backed by a clear, understandable motive. So we need somebody that we like. That's the hero of the story. And they have a motive. Their motive could be things just suck at the moment and they don't know where to go. And then the next thing is what? Well, how do I change things to be better for me? Okay. Well, the next thing is what? So as the hero goes about trying to improve their life, they run across conflicts and the action grows. And as they move closer towards what they're looking for, all these new problems and things kind of show up, right? And it creates a sort of rising action and excitement to it all. And then eventually the character meets a guide, and the guide will help them overcome obstacles and reach goals. And then after they overcome obstacles and reach goals, that's sort of the what they call the falling action. The story really becomes about what new abilities did the hero acquire on their journey, and what pitfalls did they avoid? Because that's the stuff that's emotionally resonant that we want to know as followers of this story. So now let me show you how this relates to you. So if we agree that humans respond to a simple, familiar narrative, then my supposition is that you can create a narrative for your company that creates a common understanding of how buyers want to be treated by your company. And that will fuel and energize and give intention to everyone within your company as well as the buyers. So if you can get everyone in your company to understand your story and their role in the story, marketing, sales, customer success, and you understand this from the buyer's perspective, then you're going to have a narrative that starts to build business for you. So let's look at how to do that. So now I'm going to tell you kind of more specifically how to become a guide worth following for your buyers. So the buying experience is a story with meaning. It is not a laundry list of touch points. So if you think about marketing as, I got Google ads and I got a website and I did a little bit on LinkedIn, and we invest in search. That's not a story. That's a few tactics thrown together, and you might be able to get some short-term success with those tactics. But marketing is about talking to future customers and bringing meaning to future customers. So let's talk about how to do that. So who are the heroes of your story? It isn't your brand. It isn't your product. So especially with new products and new brands, founders often think, well, we're the hero of the story because we're bringing a better way and we're disruptors and us. That never works. It's not true. No matter how disruptive or amazing your product is, it has to fit into the life of a real person or people. So buyers are the heroes of the story. What's going on in their world is critical to understand, because those pain points are what you're going to talk about. Those pain points, some people call them Monday morning problems, which I really like that phrase. What are the things that are in their way? What's stopping them from achieving success or feeling a way that they want to feel? These are the challenges, and you need to understand them and put them into the story context. So the hero is going to go through these challenges. Now, the hero is not going to go through the challenges alone. They need a guide. Who's the guide? Hopefully, that's your brand. So your brand, your job is to become a guide worth following. How do you do that? You become a guide worth following by helping the buyers buy without feeling sold. You help them. How do you help them? You educate them. You start a podcast. You start a blog. You write about their problems. And you don't need to always write about how you solve their problems. Sometimes it's just like any kind of conversation. Sometimes it's good to just listen and let people know that you get it. So your job is to be a guide, and then together the hero and the guide will go on a quest. And you're going to define what that quest is as the brand. And you're going to define it. It becomes basically your go-to-market. And your go-to-market is what does this person want to achieve that I can help them do better than anybody else can? And then if you're successful there, then there's new beginnings. And new beginnings is a lot of what fuels marketing. So what's a new beginning? It's a testimonial. where I have tried this product. I'm a user, and it helps me do X, Y, and Z. Right? A new beginning is a new logo on your website. A new beginning is that hero becoming elevated in the eyes of their coworkers because they've brought this new solution to the company. So this is important, and these are the 5 elements that you're gonna figure out. So I'll take you through a little bit more detail here on these next slides on how to figure out these 5 elements, and then we'll go into how to apply them to a web page. All right. Let's see here. So for the heroes of your story, again, they're the buyers, and you want to understand kind of what their world is all about. So you want to define who the personas is what we're talking about here. You want to describe the buyers as people. You want to talk about their unmet needs and pain points. So I want to achieve X. I want to become the greatest marketing agency in the history of marketing agencies, but I have pain points, right? I have, I don't have trouble with technology. Getting these webinars to work is really a pain point, that kind of stuff. What makes the hero special? So you want to understand what's unique about the hero, because what's unique about the hero is how they're going to go through life. It's how they're going to view everything that comes in front of them. So you want to understand that a little bit better so you can be sort of the answer to what it is they're looking for. And that's part and parcel to the last question here. What does she value most in work and life? And again, with B2B, it isn't about work only. I may want a new solution because it saves me time and it makes me look good in my company. I may only want a new solution because it makes me look good in my company. I may want to make everybody waste time, or I wouldn't put it that way, but I may not care about these things if I want to do something that I want to do. So you want to understand those things, and that's a reality, and that's happening all the time with all people in companies at all levels. So you know what's important to them professionally and what's important to them personally. Now, the challenges they face, what's happening in their world, what are the unmet needs and pain points? You know, are they even aware that they have a need, and what's in their way? So this is really just kind of mapping out the things that are standing in front of the hero that they can't do now. Now, these are things that they're relevant to what you offer, right? So the things that they cannot do now that you're going to be able to help them with. Guide, again, that's about you. So you need to share your vision to improve life for the hero. So this is why positioning is important. I hate to use marketing words. I try to stay away from marketing words as much as possible, especially jargon. But positioning yourself means putting yourself in a place where you can be seen. So you do that by sharing your purpose. You're sharing your core values and the abilities that you help buyers with. How do you behave? What's your purpose? How do you appeal to the customer's needs, and what emotion do you bring to their life? So again, back to that idea of meaning and emotion. If you can identify a piece of meaning and a few emotions that you bring to a buyer's life, that's your advertising campaign. That's your top of funnel. That's your opener, right? It's as simple as that. Quests. This is your go-to-market. So what ideas are going to marry what the hero really, really wants with what you offer, and what you offer better than anybody else does? So another way to say that is, what benefits do the customers or buyers desire most that are uniquely yours? So you need to think about that. And then new beginnings. I'm not going to play this video. You may have seen it. It's a great video for Slack. This is how Slack got started. Slack I think they're a great company. I think their startup story is really cool. And I'm not going to go into it here. I was, but I think I'm not. But after this presentation, I'll share this deck, a link to this deck, and hopefully you'll watch this video. And what this video does so well is it describes everything in the story. It takes a narrative and it describes all of the problems. It describes all of the roadblocks to those problems. For instance, people not thinking that there is a problem. And it describes all of the ways that people can triumph using this product. There's not a single screen about the product. There's not really a single feature or benefit. There's just people talking about the old way of doing things, how it was just fine. They didn't want a new way of doing things, but the new way of doing things came along, and gosh darn it, it's better. So now they talk about the new way of doing things. Now these new abilities are what they're sharing, and that's the story that they're sharing. So this is a perfect example of storytelling of what I'm talking about. It has all of the elements in there. Watch the video. I love it. All right. So what I wanted to do is give you some practical kind of takeaways. So here's how I go about writing a home page, a high conversion page, anything, any kind of web page that's important. And I use this storytelling technique to make really to make it better. So at the top of the page, for the header of any kind of web page, let's just say this is a home page for your brand. You want to talk about what's good, right? And what's good is a clear statement of the hero's new abilities and how you help them. You help them save 5 hours a week. And who are they? That's the other thing you want to say. We help teams. We help teams save 5 hours a week. That's a solid statement. And what does that feel like? Needs to be part of it as well. Does that feel? So that's what the visual is going to portray. Does that feel relaxed? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel like an accomplishment? And then you want to surround this with what I would call elements of success. So how will it change your life for the better? So if you're saving this time with this new software every week, what are you going to do with that extra time? Are you going to accomplish more? Are you going to work-life balance? Things like that. So these are elements of success. This is all you need in the homepage, nothing more. Who and a clear statement of the new ability. Now, the next section, the first section was called the good. The next section I'm calling the bad. And the bad is, what are the obstacles that are always going to be there, if you don't take action right now? So if you're not taking action, and if you're not improving the situation for yourself, you are always going to be stuck with pain point number one and struggle number one, pain point number two, struggle number two, pain point number three, struggle number three. So you want to show these. You don't have to go in a great deal of detail, but you have to remind people, in order to get the good, they have to walk away from the bad. So what's next? The treasure. I want to get the good. I'm going to walk away from the bad. What do I get for that? What reward will the hero bring home after hiring you? And again, here it's professional and personal. So going back to the quests, this is really what this is. So you want to show them your superpowers. You want to show them your secret sauce. You want to show them what you alone can do better than anyone else, and bring that to life. So that's the treasure. The treasure is not your product. The treasure is what I can do with your product. Now, any good story will have symbolism. And the symbolism here is tales of past victories. So if I choose the good, if I avoid the bad, if I'm searching for the treasure, uh, have other people been successful? Yes, they have, because we've signed up these logos. We get Nike, FedEx, Disney, Apple. It's successful because we have testimonials where real people, real happy heroes are telling us about their new abilities and what they've been able to achieve. So it's really important to show that your way of doing things produces success, and that success is seen in the logos and testimonials of people like you. So now, after all of that, we're on the fourth section of your homepage. You can finally tell them your plan. And if you have a process, that's one thing. If you have a product, it's really the same idea. Is how are you going to help them get all those wins? How are you going to help them get that treasure? What do they need to do? 1, 2, 3. So what's the description of your plan? And you also can take an opportunity to here to talk about why choose you. And the answer to why choose you is because you understand them. You as a brand understand these external problems. And we know that they make you feel a certain way, and we empathize with you, and we get it. So that kind of language makes you an authority, because you can say, look, we empathize with you. We get it. Relax. You're going to be fine. So you take an authority position by doing things this way. Again, we haven't gone into a great deal of detail about the product at all. I want you to really, really, really take that away from this. It is not about the product. It really isn't about the brand. It's about the buyer and what they need. And if your story can get into their brain. Okay. The last section here, and then we'll wrap up, is the 95-5 rule. So this is pretty common B2B knowledge, but I think it's important to understand it in the context of technology. So there's a lot of research out there that says somewhere on the order of 95% of buyers aren't really in the market at any given time. So if your strategy is to get a salesperson and sell the heck out of something, you can do that, but you're only going to talk to a very, very small percentage of the buyers that are in market at that time. What are you going to do with the 95% of marketers that aren't in market, 95% that aren't in market at that time? And that's really the question. So I think I said this at the beginning, marketing is not the exhaust of sales. Marketing is not the afterthought of sales. Marketing's job is to make buyers lean into your message and make them want to have that sales call and make that decision. So this is why storytelling is a must, because you have to create these memory structures. You have to get people to understand why you, long before they're ready to buy. And if you can do that, you'll be successful. So I'll end it with this slide. You're either defining the narrative or you're choosing to let the buyer or your competitor define it for you. Let me say that again a little bit clearer. You're either defining the narrative or choosing to let the buyer define it for you. And why would you do that? Why would you let a buyer or a competitor position you? You should position yourself and say, this is what we stand for. So if you think about funnels, at the top of the funnel is storytelling. Why? Demand gen. Defining the issues, defining the problem, defining the opportunity. At the consideration stage, it's the how. So that's knowledge sharing. Here's what we've learned along the journey. Here are the pitfalls of the journey. Here's the opportunities of the journey. And then the last is really the what. And that is, okay, what am I buying and how much is it? It's really that simple. It's really that simple. So, and if you're able to do this, uh, you'll build a strong narrative, and it will make you interesting instead of noisy. So we've all seen brands that are noisy. We've all seen brands that we don't really like because of the way they behave. And we've seen brands that we love because of the way they behave. So if you focus on a narrative, you're going to have empathy, because you're going to express the unmet needs of the hero, the buyer. You're going to have clarity, because you're going to talk about your purpose in their lives more, not your product. And you're going to have authority, because you're going to be able to easily communicate a deeper level of experience without bragging. I hope this has been helpful. Again, my name is David, and my company's Gangbusters. Thank you.